What's up guys, Zack Hample here with you, and this entire video is dedicated to the commemorative baseballs that I snagged in the stands at Major League stadiums over the course of the 2018 season. Now, the 6 baseballs that I was just holding up, that's not even half of the balls that I'm gonna be showing you in this video. You can see them right here, they're spread out in front of me on this desk, and I'm just gonna take you through them one or maybe 2 at a time so I can compare the logos, point out some things, tell you some stories about how I got them. I love commemorative baseballs so much. This is one of my favorite things to collect when I'm at games, so I'm really excited to do this video and now share it with you. So let's just jump right into it. The first ones that I'm gonna show you 2 at once are the spring training baseballs. Now the lighting in here is difficult, so here is a photo of these 2 baseballs side by side so you can really see them better. You can take a closer look at all the details on them. Now I love these logos. I think this is really cool. My favorite part is how each of the states, Florida and Arizona, are represented with the outlines of those states on the logo. Now if you compare that to the spring training logos from a couple of years ago when MLB first introduced spring training logos, you can see that the 2016 balls are pretty similar to each other in that the only difference is the letters AZ versus FL. So I love these ones from 2018, and just want to point out quickly, I don't count spring training balls in my collection unless I snag them during the regular season. There are always leftover spring training balls that make their way back to the regular stadiums in the batting practice buckets. So even if you don't go to spring training, you can still catch spring training baseballs at your favorite team's stadium. So that's how I got these during the regular season. Let's move on, shall we? Next up, we have an opening day baseball that I got at Yankee Stadium. Again, here's a closer look so you can really see that logo. This is the most boring of the opening day logos that I've ever snagged over the years. You can see a photo right here of a few different ones, and the 2018 version is just not as interesting. It's not as festive. There's not as much going on. There's not as many details. But of course, I'm just really happy to get any commemorative ball, even if the logo is boring, because it's still cool because it's a commemorative ball. And by the way, check the description for this video, okay? I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of links there to my YouTube videos from all these games and stadiums over the course of the season when I actually got these balls. So you can see me talking about and holding up this opening day ball in my Yankee Stadium video. It was freezing that day, and Yankee fans might recall that Giancarlo Stanton struck out 5 times. First time playing in front of the home crowd, 5 strikeouts. And I mention that because this ball represents his first strikeout of that game. This was the ball that ended the inning. He struck out, visiting team catcher took the ball back toward the dugout, flipped it up to me in the crowd. So yeah, really cool to have gotten this one. Let's move along. The next thing I want to show you is, if I can find it here, because all these things are turned sideways. This is the worst logo of the entire season. Are you ready for this? This is an absolute disaster. This is the Tampa Bay Rays commemorative logo for their 20th anniversary. There's so much that I hate about this, but I'm gonna show you another 20th anniversary ball, and then we'll do a little side-by-side comparison. So this one right here is the Arizona Diamondbacks logo for their 20th anniversary. And let's just look at these side-by-side up on the screen. Now, what I love about the D-backs logo is that it actually includes the years. They became a franchise in 1998, and you can see that on the left side of that logo, 1998 to 2018. I like that it says 20th anniversary. I like those little stars at the bottom. That's kind of cool. And that big A logo at the top with that kind of snakeskin pattern. And by the way, that logo has the outline, the silhouette of the shape of Chase Field. That is so cool. Compare that to the Rays logo, and there's really not much going on at all. They left out the years, which I think is inexcusable. There's not even really a good logo. You have a sun ray, like that burst of light right in the middle of that logo, and then you have a stingray swimming at the bottom, which is kind of interesting, but it's just not obviously a Tampa Bay Rays logo. Kind of generic, so I think they goofed up on that one. But again, really glad to have gotten these. The Rays ball was actually tossed up before a game at Tropicana Field, and the Diamondbacks ball was a Rene Rivera foul ball during a game. Got that up in the club level. Again, check the description for this video. I'll throw links to all this stuff there. So, let's move it on along to, okay, a couple of text-based logos. Ready for this? Let's start with this one, the Puerto Rico Series, which took place between the Twins and Indians in April at Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan, okay? And I'm gonna show you another one right here as well. This is a ball from the Mexico Series, which took place in early May at the Monterrey Baseball Stadium between the Dodgers and Padres. Now, if you look right up here on the screen, you can see that there was an alternate logo designed for the Puerto Rico Series. It was much fancier, more decorative. It featured a lighthouse. I was really hoping that that fancier logo would appear on the baseballs, but instead, MLB went with this boring text-based logo instead. So the Mexico Series ball, again, if you look at this photo of me right there, actually at the stadium in Mexico, you can see the shirt that I was wearing, and up on the Jumbotron over my head, there was a nicer commemorative logo for that Mexico Series, but for some reason that logo didn't make it onto the ball. Now the Mexico ball that I am holding right here is probably worth a few $1,000s. No, that's not a joke, and the reason is that this is a game-used ball from a no-hitter. You guys remember that? May 4th, 2018, 4 different Dodgers pitchers combined to no-hit the San Diego Padres. And this ball ended one of the innings, and it was tossed up into the crowd, and I got this one. So yeah, go and try to buy a game-used commemorative ball from a no-hitter in an international series. How much is that gonna cost you? But I've never sold a ball in my life. It's just fun to think about how much this stuff is worth. So again, I'll show you these two baseballs side by side just for a hot second so you can take one last look at them. And actually, here's something interesting. I'm gonna show you this newer Puerto Rico Series ball next to the one that I got 8 years earlier. Check that out. Initially, it was called the San Juan Series. Now it's called the Puerto Rico Series, but the games were played in the exact same stadium. So interesting that MLB switched that up. And by the way, that San Juan Series ball, that's Giancarlo Stanton's 2nd career home run, back when he was known as Mike Stanton. I caught that one on the fly. He hit it off the New York Mets. So happy to have caught that. Of course, I wish it were his 1st career home run, but you can't have everything. So let's keep moving. And by the way, don't give me any crap about, oh, how I'm disrespecting the baseballs by throwing them on the floor, okay? Baseballs are pitched 100 miles an hour and they're hit even harder than that, and they're fine. So if I roll these balls across my very clean Scrabble rug, I think they'll survive. Let's move on to a couple of 25th anniversary balls, okay? And I'm gonna start you off with this one right here, the Colorado Rockies. I love this logo. I think it's really sharp, except for one thing that's missing. First of all, I love the mountains. I like how the highest peak of the mountains pokes up above that otherwise perfect square border. I love the big number 5 that droops down low, making room to almost cradle the end of the word Rockies. That's cool. And then the word Colorado is so tiny. It's the tiniest font I've ever seen on the logo on a baseball. So it's hard to read, so we give it a thumbs down, but just the fact that it's cool and different and interesting, we give that a thumbs up. But the one thing that's missing, I already talked about it earlier with the Rays ball when I compared that to the D-backs ball, the years. Take another look at this thing. The years are missing. The Rockies became a franchise in 1993. Why does it not say that on the ball? It's not hard. Teams, you gotta do this. Why are you leaving off the years? Okay? So we're gonna roll that one on the floor, and I'm gonna show you this one now. This is the Miami Marlins 25th anniversary ball. And this one is interesting for a couple of different reasons. First, as we look at the logo, you can see right there at the top, it has the years, 1993 to 2018. Thank you very much. I love that fish right in the middle. That is actually a marlin. That's a type of fish for those of you kids out there who didn't know that. I love how it goes right through the digits 2 and 5. Very sharp design. Interestingly, this logo is very faint. It's not dark, there's not much ink on it. And who cares? Why does that matter? Well, as a lot of you guys probably know, when batters step up to the plate, they try to determine what pitch is being thrown by picking up the spin and the rotation out of the pitcher's hand. So the bigger and darker that a logo is, it makes it easier for guys to detect the spin. A logo like this with the Marlins that has very little ink, that would definitely give an advantage to the pitchers. So that's something interesting to note. And I have noticed, along with my friends who also collect these things, that the trend in Major League Baseball is for commemorative logos to now be smaller. So maybe Rob Manfred and the other executives are getting worried about all these home runs being hit, and they're like, man, we gotta help out the pitchers by having smaller logos. But then again, guys are striking out at a historic rate, so maybe they should keep the logos the same, or maybe even make them bigger. Who knows? But just an interesting thing to note. And by the way, this Marlins commemorative ball was only used for 1 weekend in Miami in June. The other logos that I've been showing you for the different teams, those were season-long commemorative logos. 7 different teams this year had a season-long ball. But for some reason, the Marlins were like, well, we're only gonna do it for 1 weekend. So again, you can see it right there. I wish they'd done it for the whole year because I want as many people as possible to be able to catch these things. But then again, the fact that this ball wasn't used very much makes it more rare and special and valuable. So, glad to have it. Let's move along to this very special ball from the Home Run Derby at Nationals Park. Now, as you look at this logo close up, I am going to switch it over side by side to a Home Run Derby logo from a couple years earlier, and you can see that's basically the same logo. The only thing that changed is the year. Well, okay, and the size. But you can see the ball on the left says 2016, the ball on the right says 2018, and that's it. To me, that's pretty lame. Low effort. I would love to see new, fancy, inventive logos designed every year to appear on these baseballs. So I got this one during batting practice before the Derby. Didn't get anything during the Derby, unfortunately, but again, glad to have this baseball. I posted it on my Instagram. It got a ton of likes. Guys, people just love commemorative balls. So again, that's why I'm doing this video. It's just so damn cool, especially if you catch thousands of balls, you're gonna be interested in seeing all the varieties. So yeah, Home Run Derby right there. All right, next up I have a couple of baseballs that each have a big number 50 on them. We'll transition to a side-by-side photo of these babies. And there's an interesting distinction about these balls. There's something really weird going on. One is for the Kansas City Royals, one is for the Oakland Athletics. And it might seem like the math does not add up. Both of these balls have the years on them, okay? Oakland, it says 1968 to 2018. The Royals ball says 1969 to 2018. What in the world is going on? How could there be a differential and yet they both still say 50 on them? It doesn't seem like the math adds up. So here's why. This was the Athletics' 50th anniversary in Oakland. 50th anniversary, got it? But for the Royals, they were celebrating their 50th season, okay, as a team. So that's basically why the numbers don't add up. If you just think about it, it's like, if you're in a relationship, let's say, and you've been dating for a month, well, it's within the first year of being together, but it doesn't really count as a year until that year is done. Does that make any sense? So 50th season versus 50th anniversary, that's why it's completely screwy. But I gotta give credit to both of these teams for pretty sharp logos. The Royals ball, I love that crown at the top. I love the KC logo at the bottom. I like how the years kind of jut out on those banners. The number 50 is very distinctive. And as for the Oakland ball, that is actually a game home run that I snagged at the Coliseum, hit by Dustin Fowler. He absolutely launched it to right center field. And if you look right here, I hope this shows up, you can see it has a massive scuff on it from where it landed on the concrete, took a crazy ricochet to me in the tunnel. Got very lucky on that one. This was my 60th game home run. This is the 60th anniversary of the San Francisco Giants moving to San Francisco. So it has the Golden Gate Bridge on there. I like the big number 60 kind of in three-dimensional font. I like the years at the bottom, 1958 to 2018, and that little SF logo. This is a very nice logo, very sharp. There's really nothing wrong with it at all. One of my favorites of the season. I think probably the Royals logo is my favorite. I also really like the D-backs one, but this Giants ball, again, very cool looking. And if we turn this thing around, look at the sweet spot. Ooh, it says the word Giants stamped on right there. As I mentioned before, a lot of teams over the years have stamped the sweet spot on their practice balls to prevent their own players and employees from stealing those balls and getting them autographed. Anyway, really sharp logo. I like that 60. And here's another 60th anniversary. This is the Dodgers, their move from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. So again, on this ball, you can see it says 1958 to 2018. Really cool logo. I think the one bad thing about it is how the number 60 at the bottom is kind of obscured by that dark banner that says Los Angeles. I feel like if that were the number 50 versus the number 60, it almost looks the same. But I love that building in the background. That's actually the City Hall building, which was the tallest building in LA at the time when the Dodgers moved there. I love those palm trees in the background. I love those little dots or stars around that circular shape. Really sharp logo overall. This ball, by the way, I got it on May 9th after the game at Dodger Stadium. It was thrown to me by the home plate umpire. You can see that in my YouTube video, which will be linked in the description. Nice and mud rubbed. I don't even know if that's showing up too well. If I hold it too close to the camera, it's blurry, and if I hold it too far back, it's too light. But anyway, really cool ball. And finally, there is one more for me to show you. This is the postseason baseball right there. I got this one at the wild card game at Yankee Stadium against the Oakland Athletics. This was the ball that ended the first inning. It was a Luke Voit flyout. The ball got tossed around. It ended up in the hands of Matt Chapman, and he chucked it right to me. So really happy to get a game-used ball from the postseason. But I have to say, this logo is pretty boring. Again, text-based logos really aren't that exciting to me. And if you take a look at all of these photos up on the screen, these are what the postseason logos looked like over the past 6 years. I loved the gray and silver stamping that MLB used. It made the baseballs look really snazzy and carried more weight like you would feel in the postseason. I felt like the logos kind of matched the event, the enormity of the games being played. But now with this new postseason logo, how they've switched back over to their standard dark blue stamping, it's just boring, man. And the World Series logo looked exactly the same. Instead of postseason, it just said World Series. Unfortunately, probably MLB is gonna keep using these dark blue postseason stamps because it probably had to do with the visibility for the batters not being able to see the pitches so well. So it is kind of hard to argue with that. But the World Series balls used to be stamped with gold. You can see right here from the 2017 World Series at Dodger Stadium. I was there, I did get that ball. I really missed the gold stamping. That was incredible. So that pretty much wraps it up for all the commemorative baseballs in 2018. Now there were other commemorative balls in use that I did not get. Sometimes these balls were just used for one day only to honor a certain event or a player. And yes, I go to a lot of games at a lot of stadiums, but I can't be everywhere. Sometimes I have to pick and choose. So I'm sure some of you guys watching this may have snagged some commemorative balls that I didn't get. Congratulations, I'm officially envious. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. There will be lots more content coming throughout this off season. Q&A videos, other stuff with collectibles that I've gotten. Keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. If you have suggestions for videos that you want to see, you can leave that in a comment as well, and I will try to check those out to the best of my ability. So, again, thanks for watching. I'm out.